Brian Molefe resigns as chief executive of Eskom. A child rapist and murderer has been sentenced to life behind bars. A very happy Friday to you. You're watching eNews Direct. I'm Duduzile Ramela.
And I'm Sandile Kangose. Good evening.
To comment on any of our stories, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. That's at eNews Direct.
And tonight our hashtags are Joburg Floods and Brian Molefe.
A child rapist and murderer has been handed a life sentence. Dumisani Maluleke raped, poisoned and murdered 4-year-old Aisha Machaba in 2015. She was his ex-girlfriend's daughter. He apparently committed the crime out of revenge.
Child rapist and killer Dumisani Maluleke didn't want us to film him in court. And his brother became aggressive with court staff for not stopping that filming.
I don't care also. So what is that?
Judge Leonie Windel was unimpressed, ruling that there was a clear public interest in this horrific murder case.
My order is that the matter can be televised.
She described how Maluleke had kidnapped and raped little Asia Machaba, poisoned her with Baygon insecticide, then suffocated the child as she fought for her life. He then hid her body in the base of his mattress. It all became too much for the 4-year-old's mother. It appears that Maluleke's motive was simple. He wanted to hurt Bertha Machaba as much as possible.
I am satisfied that you present a danger to society and that your permanent removal from the society is justified.
The judge sentenced Maluleke to an effective life term for Asia's murder and for the earlier assault on her mother. For Bertha Machaba, it's still difficult to talk about the little girl she's lost.
She
was a very good girl, respectful, and even when you send her for errands, she will do it. I loved her very much.
It's the first time that I've ever come across such a case, you know, where it seemed like the one after the other, after thing was done for this child to die out of revenge, and it was gruesome.
And it wasn't just the prosecutor who was affected by this case. Little Asia's family were too impoverished to afford the cost of her funeral. Instead, it was the officers of the Innerdale police station who had spent hours searching for the murdered child, who ended up paying for her burial. Karen Morn, Johannesburg.
Eskom CEO Brian Molefe has resigned. The move comes in the wake of the former public protector's state of capture report, in which he's implicated. Thuli Madonsela's report detailed cell phone records that showed he made contact with the Guptas over 40 times. It also adds that Eskom may have repeatedly broken the law to accommodate the family's Tegeta resources in a coal supply deal.
In a surprise statement on Friday, Eskom CEO Brian Molefe announced his resignation. He says he took the decision voluntarily and in the interest of good governance. Molefe adds that stepping down is not an admission of guilt following the release of the States of Capture report, which implicates him. The power utility says it tried to get Molefe to stay on as CEO, but without success.
During this morning, we had an EXCO meeting. The EXCO members also tried to convince him to stay on, but he has made up his mind. Remember, this thing, sometimes obviously we personalize them and only look at an individual, but sometimes these things do stretch beyond the individual. They also affect our families and people who are close to us.
Molefe says he's confident that he'll be able to show no wrongdoing on his part. But now experts are concerned about what lies ahead for the power producer.
Certainly it's very disturbing for Eskom to be without a leader for a period, and we hope that somebody suitable will be found as soon as possible to replace him. I have a feeling that it's going to be somebody external and not from internal from Eskom.
Molefe was roped in at Eskom 2 years ago to stabilize power supply after the country experienced load shedding. Public Enterprises Minister Lynn Brown has until the end of the year to appoint an interim replacement. The outgoing CEO's last day at Eskom will be on December 31st. Khalihle Khumalo, Johannesburg.
Emergency services are working in difficult circumstances to try and find the body of a 3-year-old girl. Everett Chauke was swept away by floodwater in Alexandra on Wednesday. With more rainfall expected, teams are expanding the search area.
Everett Chauke's body could be here or here. The 3-year-old was swept away as her family tried to escape the floodwater in Alexandra on Wednesday. In desperation, her father grabbed a tree branch as he held the toddler, but the branch snapped and the little girl disappeared. Emergency workers say the operation has now changed.
It has been a day since we've started. This is the second day, and now we've been joined by the police, and now it's body recovery.
The search team has moved from Alexandra to Kyalami and Sandton.
It's very difficult. You can just imagine a child's body is very light. Hence, we've gone from Alex to Kyalami, and we're still stretching. So we've covered almost over 25 Ks, but we're still continuing.
The police, EMS and K9 unit are determined to work throughout the weekend to bring some closure to the family. Zikhona Tshona, Johannesburg.
The presidency is asking former public protector Thuli Madonsela to refrain from attacking President Jacob Zuma. In a statement, the presidency says Madonsela's recent remarks about Zuma are unbecoming and unhelpful. Madonsela publicly released her audio conversation with Zuma to prove that she had given him a chance to answer her questions. The presidency says she is no longer the public protector and should not comment on issues related to that office. Some Home Affairs employees are fed up with working on Saturdays. They're demanding they be paid overtime or for weekend work, or they'll down tools. Workers affiliated to the National Union of Public Service and Allied Workers are accusing the department of abuse. Home Affairs argues it can't afford to pay workers overtime.
Employees who do not comply with the
These are the first faces you see when you visit a Home Affairs office. These men and women are responsible for processing ID documents, birth and death certificates, and a host of other administrative services. But the workers and the Home Affairs Department are not seeing eye to eye over working hours.
The workers of Home Affairs were working 45 hours Monday to Friday. So now they want the employees to work 40 hours Monday to Friday and 5 hours on Saturday. So if that is the case, and then it means the workers won't be able to rest.
The rain didn't stop the workers from marching to the minister's office. If their demands are ignored, they're threatening to bring Home Affairs to its knees.
We are coming. This is the beginning. Yes. Comrade, we've been used by a plane. Yes.
But the department says paying overtime is not an option.
This thing has been working in Home Affairs for the past 11 years, from 2005. So the public is aware that Home Affairs offices are open on Saturdays. So we cannot change that just because of people who want now to get an overtime, whereas we're saying, no, you are working your 40 hours per week, and then based on that, we pay you for that. Nothing more. I'm not abusing anybody.
The workers have given officials 7 days to respond to their demands. However, it is up to the Constitutional Court to decide whether the workers or the department will win this battle. A date for that ruling is yet to be announced. Lorenzo Temba, Pretoria.
People living in Wolverrivier in Cape Town say local government must provide proper housing rather than dump more people into the isolated area. They say the area is cut off from employment and health services, rendering them helpless. Woodstock residents who face eviction may move to Wolverrivier if they qualify for emergency accommodation provided by the city of Cape Town. However, they are opposed to living so far away from the city.
A place where people are forgotten. This is the sentiment of people in Wolverrivier. Located over 30 kilometers outside the city, basic services like transport and healthcare are difficult to come by. This 49-year-old woman lives in a tiny house with 11 other family members.
Nabantwana bam aba-11 abantwana bam ba-11 bahlala apha xa silala siyayisusa le tafile siyibeke apha phezu kwale ngenxa yoba akho ndawo.
Nikki Pretorius, who operates a creche in the community, says the area is already overcrowded.
Before more people are brought here, the problems that are here should be fixed. I feel that before more people are introduced into a community that's already overcrowded, look at maybe filling some of those empty houses with some of the people that are already 11, 12 people in a one-room house. Volvorefuur is becoming, the hideaway for those that are in the way.
Pretorius provides medical services to residents because it's too far and costly to travel to hospital. The city of Cape Town says the area is a much better location than where they previously lived. It says officials are working hard to enable job, social and transport opportunities in the area.
A quick look at world news now. The second day of anti-Trump protests have turned violent in some parts of the United States. Protesters objected to the election of Republican Donald Trump as president. Some reportedly threw fireworks at police, while others sprayed graffiti on cars and buildings. Riot police used pepper spray and stun grenades to disperse the crowds. More demonstrations are planned for the weekend. The Department of Finance says it's concerned about the high number of municipalities that require intervention. Treasury highlighted the problem during the presentation of the 2016 Division of Revenue Amendment Bill to the Parliamentary Finance Portfolio Committee. Treasury says about 92% of municipalities need urgent help to sort out debt and other financial issues. Treasury has handed over 2.4 billion rand of 2016-2017 reserve funds to improve the running of municipalities. It's also allocated conditional grants of over 50 billion rand for municipal water service infrastructure. This year, Eskom told Parliament it's owed close to 11 billion rand by municipalities. Let's see how the markets close today. Let's check in with the Weather Center.
Welcome to the Weather Center. Friday started off with lots of thunderstorms across much of eastern South Africa, and our most recent satellite picture shows us those thunderstorms persisting throughout the day across the central and eastern areas, and we have a pretty big storm system pushing through the northwest and heading towards the Gauteng province. And so tonight is going to be a stormy night across much of eastern South Africa. Light rain is also forecasted tonight for the southwestern parts of the Eastern Cape. Western South Africa is going to get away with partly cloudy skies. Then on Saturday, we are going to see light rain showers over the southern Cape areas, more intense rainfall for the southeastern areas of the Eastern Cape, and we stay with scattered thunderstorms over the eastern half of the country. Once again, much of the northern Cape will see mostly partly cloudy skies. KwaZulu-Natal is going to be mostly cloudy with isolated to scattered thunderstorms, temperatures warming into the upper 20s and lower 30s for much of the province. We are going to see isolated thunder showers and rain showers for the northern and eastern parts of the Eastern Cape, dry for the rest of the province, mild for Port Alfred, Port Elizabeth, as well as Grahamstown. Light rain is forecast along much of the south coast of the Western Cape. Cape Town gets away with partly cloudy skies and warms up to just around 20 degrees. Mostly sunny and warm to hot weather is forecast for much of the Northern Cape. We are going to stay with thunder showers across much of the Free State, Bloemfontein and Forest Smith, hitting the 30-degree mark. Afternoon temperatures are going to be a touch cooler across much of the northwest, but we stay with thunder showers over the central and eastern areas. Unsettled weather continues across the Limpopo province, Polokwane, warming to around 28 degrees. Scattered thunderstorms will pop up once again across the Mpumalanga Highveld. A high of 30 is forecast to form Mbombela. Gauteng is also going to see thunderstorms in the afternoon. Pretoria warming to 26 degrees. We stay with thunder showers on Sunday over parts of Gauteng and Limpopo. Rainy conditions for Mpumalanga and KwaZulu-Natal. Drizzle around George. Then on Monday, we are going to see thunder showers for much of the northeast, light rain and drizzle around Richards Bay.
Here's what's coming up after the break in your entertainment news. A Cape Town maths teacher uses hip-hop music to teach mathematics. Welcome back. A Cape Town teacher has come up with a rather innovative way of making dreaded mathematics more palatable.
And I've never heard this before. He's fused music and dance with the intricacies of numbers, much to the delight of his students.
Kurt Minnar has been teaching mathematics to high school pupils for the past 8 years. But his methods are far from conventional. Minnar spices up almost all things numbers, from times tables to calculus, with a bit of rap and dance. A method used to get these young people to memorize it better.
How did you come up with this whole concept?
Man, I think, firstly, I struggled on school. And so I know what it's like to sit in the class and struggle. Secondly, come out of a traditional family, you must do it in academics, get your first degree. And then I've been dancing all my life for a very long time, and I kind of just decided to put the two together, the whole creative side, the rapping, the DJing, and the dancing.
Minnar has also created a few YouTube music videos that recites various educational times tables. He hopes this will also give pupils the opportunity to use the tool after school hours.
If you play track over and over, you're naturally going to get it. I think it's almost in the sense of we have to market maths to the kids again. We have to make it look beautiful.
So does this unusual formula actually work?
When I came to English class, seeing in second term what he brought out with the ideas and how to make the steps easier, I started liking it.
Having struggled with mathematics myself growing up, so who would have thought that now you could actually start a band using numbers? 7, 14, 21, 28.
35, 42, 49, 63, 70, 77, 84, 90.
Tanya Neft, Cape Town.
A reminder of your top stories before we say goodbye. Brian Molefe resigns as Chief Executive of Eskom.
Yep, Rhythm City's up next.
We do love to hear from you. You can send us an email to enewsdirect@etv.co.za.
Or of course, you can just talk to us on Twitter and Facebook, and our handle is @eNewsDirect.
Until Monday night, have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.
So you finally got your wish.
I want to say goodbye.